Now, some of you are probably expecting me to come out and just hate on this movie, and honestly, there's probably some people out there that are expecting me to hate on it just because I am a man. Well, surprise, surprise, I actually didn't think this movie was that bad. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I am your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about the reboot, sequel, whatever you want to call this thing. I'll explain that in a minute. We're going to be talking about Charlie's Angels. The reason I say that is, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but this movie makes references at the first to the original Charlie's Angels and the other movies they had as well. So is this part of the canon, or were those just Easter eggs? I don't know. But in a way, it kind of connects to them. And honestly, I thought that was kind of cool that they kind of showed a little respect to the other movies. What this movie is about, a young engineer works for this company, and they're trying to build this sustainable energy machine, but the technology is dangerous. It needs to be fixed, and she knows how to fix it, but her boss will not let her fix it. And she is given contact information for Charlie's Angels, and she ends up working with them to stop this company, for the people in the company, from using this new technology as a weapon on the black market. At first, I'm not going to spoil anything, but near the end of this review, I do have to talk about the end of the movie, and especially the twists. For the most part, though, I didn't think this movie was that bad. Now, I'm not saying it's a great movie or a really original movie or anything, but because honestly, the twists and turns and everything are really obvious. Everything is really obvious. That being said, as kind of a spy movie, I didn't think it was that bad. I was at least entertained through most of it. When the action happens, it's pretty good. I mean, I've seen great action movies this year alone, so I'm not going to compare them to things like that, but just as a kind of a spy action thriller movie, I didn't think the action for the action itself, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought the three main characters had some decent chemistry. I think Kristen Stewart is my favorite part of the movie. Her character's kind of a loose cannon in a way. She's like, I don't have a filter, and she was pretty entertaining. Anytime there was good humor in the movie, it was usually coming from her. I like the other characters as well. I didn't think they were as strong. You've got, timid tech girl that of course is going to become an angel in the end. You've got, the former MI6 agent, and then you've got Kristen Stewart's character is kind of the loose cannon, used to be a bad girl, but now she's one of the good guys. So they're fairly generic characters. There's a little bit of character development there, especially for the one that was in MI6. They have part of the storyline plays into her used to be an MI6 agent, and it plays into them needing help. But the characters, are pretty generic. But that being said, the three girls, even though their characters, even the two established angels, they barely know each other at the beginning of the movie. They work together once, but then you find out that they don't really know each other. Then the movie jumps ahead a year, and they hadn't seen each other until then. So they don't really know each other, but they do become friends throughout the movie, along with this third character. So I think their chemistry helped make this movie a little better, even though their characters are a bit generic. The humor in this movie, most of it for me didn't work. There was times it was trying to be too funny. and it just didn't work for me. It didn't ruin the movie for me, but anytime they really tried to force the humor in there, it just is like, okay, let's move on to the stuff that is working. To explain the Bosleys, everyone was like, why is there so many Bosleys? Well, the way this organization has grown, they have multiple Bosleys in different countries and everything. Patrick Stewart's Bosley is supposed to be the original Bosley, and Bosley in this organization, they basically say it's kind of like a lieutenant. And then of course Charlie is the lead, and then the Angels are the operatives. So there's a ton of Bosleys, and what we see at the first of the movie, this is where they put in a few cameos to be different Bosleys. You only deal with 2 or 3 of them throughout the whole movie, but the rest are just kind of cameos. And I'll talk about cameos again here in a minute. But the Bosleys are all just kind of the assistants to the Angels, but there's just not the one. And of course, again, Patrick Stewart's is the original. At the first of the movie, he's retiring, so you get to see a bunch of the Bosleys get together to honor him in retirement. So that's really all I can say about the movie without spoiling anything. For those that don't want anything spoiled, I will say this. I wouldn't rush to the theater to see it. It's not a bad action spy movie, but it's not a great one either. Again, I was entertained. It's not one I would probably watch again, but I was entertained enough that I could at least recommend it as a rental. I will tell you, even though there's not something at the very end of the credits, there is a bunch of stuff during the credits, so definitely stay through most of the credits. Once you see the song list for the movie pop up, you're done with the after credit stuff. So now I'm going to get into spoiler territory. So the first thing I want to talk about is one thing I was afraid this movie was going to do, and some may actually still see it this way. I didn't. That it's a man-hater movie. And honestly, at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a man-hater movie. Look, I'm all about women being empowered in movies. I'm all about... See, here's the thing, though. I just want good characters. Just give me good characters. If a character has a reason to be a chauvinist pig, make him a chauvinist pig, right? But don't just make every man a chauvinist pig. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. And I was afraid that this movie was going to do that because, really, other than Bosleys, the first 2-3 men characters we meet are all just chauvinist pigs, right? So I'm thinking, tell me this movie isn't going to do that. Now, as the movie goes along, we start meeting other male characters that aren't Bosleys, that are characters. They're not just, me man, me hate woman. You know what I mean? And I was afraid that that's what the whole movie was going to be. And it does kind of start that way, but then it gets better as it goes along. Because at first, when I'm watching that first scene, and you see it in the trailer, where she's tying up the guy and she's kind of giving him a speech about how women can do anything. That goes on a little long. That being said, other than that, and other than the tech girls' bosses, I mean, there's male characters in them, but they're not like male chauvinist pigs. They're just guys, So my biggest fear was dropped pretty quick, even though the first of the movie kind of starts that way. Now, big spoilers. This movie is so easy to figure out. It's not even funny. You know what the fake twist is going to be, and then you know what the real twist, at least who is the bad guy. It's real easy to figure out who the bad guy is, even though the movie tries to trick you. So you're going to figure out who the bad guy is, and if you don't, I'll be surprised. They try to fool you, and honestly, I would have loved to have seen the twist work the other way. I would have rather it been who they accuse. I would have loved to have seen it. They accuse this person, but this person proves their innocence, but then they end up being the bad guy anyway. I would have liked that. But no, they go pretty generic on who the bad guy is. And there's kind of two different bad guys. There's the kind of bad guy, and then there's the real bad guy. And again, it's real easy to figure out. So yeah, when it comes to cameos, again, they show you cameos as Bosley's, or Bosley's as cameos. You'll definitely recognize a few of the faces. But then when our tech girl, Sabina, or not Sabina, that's Kristen Stewart's character. When Elena, when she is training to be an angel at the end, a bunch of cameos come in. The person that's training her to drive, the person that's training her to fight. You're gonna know who these people are, right? So that was kind of neat. You just get a few cameos that way, and it's like it's women of fame and women of great skill that are training her. So that was kind of neat. That being said, the trailer shows you part of the and I really hate this. It shows you part of the mid-credit scenes during the trailer. The part in the plane, that's in the mid-credit scene. And then there's a few other things like that as well. The mid-credit scene also gives you maybe a glimpse into the future with a couple of the new trainees, which I could see them being. And they could just be, because I know some of these people have worked with Elizabeth Banks before, so they could just be there for a favor. But then again, I could also see them wanting to work with her again and be in another one if they make another one. And honestly, I think this movie will probably do okay in the theaters. Whether or not it's going to be seen very well, I know critics are kind of split, but then again, there's not a lot of critic reviews out there right now. Fans are seeming to like this movie. I could see it having a future. But yeah, they definitely tease a future. And honestly, if it's as entertaining, or if I stay as entertained for a sequel as I did for this one, I'd be okay with seeing another one. That being said, again, I figured out who the bad guy was because I've seen Mission Impossible. Back when the first Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie come out, it was unheard of that that guy would be the bad guy, right? But in this one, I'm just like, oh, gee, I wonder who it's going to be. So yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was at least, again, entertained. And sometimes for me, that's enough. I didn't expect this one to be an amazing movie. And if it would have been, I would have been even better. So I was entertained by this one. Again, I would call it, though, a rental at best. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel. Like this video. If you have anything to say about Charlie's Angels, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds. See you later.